Your objective for lesson 16 is that you'll be able to summarize the rules for adding and multiplying even and odd numbers. Now, I want you to write this in your book because we aren't going to have notes today. I would like you to pause the video at this point and do the opening exercise with a partner next to you. You want to answer every question on this page. When you finish, it should only take you about 5 minutes. I want you to then hit play so that you can look at generally the answers that you should have written down. Now that you've talked to your peers on what you believe the answers are, I'm going to go ahead and just give you some of the answers that you would have written down. So the first one would be a number that can be divided by 2, a number whose unit digit is 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. And again, unit digit just means the number in the ones place. And all the multiples of 2. If you had something different than those, it's okay. This is just, generally speaking, something that you would have written down. Examples of even numbers, you could have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, all the way up. As long as your numbers ended in a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, you have an even number. Now we go to what is an odd number. An odd number is an integer or a number. So an integer is just another word for number that cannot be evenly divided by 2. Now the reason I have to say evenly divided is because you can divide an odd number by 2, you just have decimals. This is saying without having a decimal or a remainder, an odd number cannot be divided by 2. You would also say a number that has a unit digit 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9. And then lastly, it'd be all the numbers that are not multiples of 2. So as you can tell, this is pretty much the opposite of an even number, which is what it should be. Examples of odd numbers, anything that ends in a 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So you could have skip counted. You could have written bigger numbers. Again, just as long as that unit digit was an odd number, you are correct. Now the last question. What happens when we add 2 even numbers? Do we always get an even number? And your answers will vary here, but your answer would need to be yes. And the reasoning or your explanation varies just as long as you understood that yes, 2 even numbers would give you an even number. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do 1 and 2 for you. You will be expected to do 3 and 4. So 1 and 2. Why is the sum of 2 even numbers even? So they say look at 12 plus 14. Draw dots to represent each number. So we're going to do 12 dots. That's 12. Plus 14 dots. Now, it then tells you to circle the pairs of dots to determine if any dots are left over. So that means every 2 you circle. So we have 2, 2. And there are no dots left over. Is this true every time 2 even numbers are added together? Yes, it will always be true. Okay, anytime you have 2 numbers, 2 even numbers that you're adding together, it will always be an even answer. So the reasoning is every time, so it's going to be yes, every time 2 even numbers are added together, the answer will be even. Because even numbers never have dots left over. When circling pairs. Therefore, it's always true. Is always even. Now, let's go ahead and look down here. Why is the sum of 2 odd numbers even? Well, think of the pair 11 and 15. We're going to draw all the dots. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Circling our pairs. There are 2 dots left over. And those 2 dots make us another pair, which then would result in the even number. So, what you can do is if you look at this and you think, which of my numbers are 1 higher or 1 greater than an even number? If both numbers that are being added together are only 1 greater than an even number, you're going to have an even answer. So when each addend, which are the numbers you're adding, are 1 greater than an even number, they each have 1 left over when circling pairs. Therefore, every time the 1 left over in each number creates another pair. resulting in an even answer. When you have two numbers and you're trying to predict whether the answer will be even or odd, you just have to look and see if the odd numbers are both one away from one greater than an even number. If even one of them is more than one greater than an even number, this isn't true. So they both have to be one greater than an even number in order to create another pair that will make your answer an even answer. Now, the last one. Why is the sum of an even number and an odd number odd? So we have another situation, 14 and 11. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I just did a little too much. There's my 14 plus 11. All right, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. All right, we're going to circle our pairs now. We have that one left over right there. So we have one left over. This will always be true because only one addend will have a dot left over. Therefore, it will remain odd. Now, you can't end up pairing that one left over with another one, and so that one's going to push the pairs to be one past a pair. So your next question is, what if the first addend is odd and the second is even? Is the sum still odd? Why or why not? And the answer is yes, because you're still adding the same numbers. And the rule for addition is that it doesn't matter the order that you add them in, you're always going to get the same answer. And so it does not matter which number is first. Because the rule of addition states it doesn't matter the order you add the numbers. The answer will always be the same. So doesn't matter, these rules will be true. So down here, we're going to sum it up so you can do 4 and 5 with a partner. So the rules here, you have an even plus an even will give you an even number. An odd plus an odd will give you an even number. An odd plus an even or an even plus an odd will give you an odd answer. Now, what I would like you to do is take this here. Well, actually, it's going to be on your problem set. I want you to go into the problem set and I want you to take the lesson summary and put it in your notebook so you can use it for the quiz. At this point, I want you to hit pause and I want you to go ahead and do number 4 and 5. And then once you do 4 and 5, you're able to hit play and check your answers. If your answers are correct, go straight to your problem set. If your answers are incorrect, I would like you to get your problem set and come to me. All right, looking at the answer for number 4, product means to multiply, which is repeated addition. If the number is even, then we are adding even numbers, which results in an even answer because there's no dot left over when you are circling pairs. Number 5, the product of two odd numbers is odd, is what the statement is saying. And the product of two odd numbers means that we're repeatedly adding on odd numbers an odd number of times. My example was 7 times 3 is equal to 7 plus 7 plus 7. So I made my dots and circled my pairs, and as you can see, I ended up having one dot that didn't then have another dot to pair with, where for my first two 7s, their extras could pair together. And because you would have one odd number with an extra that you can't pair with another, you're going to end up with an odd answer. And your last question is the product of even numbers and an odd number is even, which is true because even numbers never have dots left over, so it does not matter if we add them an even number of times or an odd number of times, there will never be a dot unpaired. Now I want you to go ahead and get your problem set, and I want you to do everything, both sides, and then turn it in.